Welcome to EventUp, the place where people enthusiastic about events stay in the know on the latest trends within the events industry. Live, hybrid, and virtual experiences. From virtual events to conferences, award galas, and everything in between. Here's your host, Amanda Ma.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to EventUp podcast. Today's guest is a true powerhouse in the world of experiential marketing. Joining us today is Allie Galloway, Senior Director, Global Events and Experiential Marketing at Yahoo. Allie has led award-winning brand experiences from large-scale conferences to innovative digital activations, and has been recognized by BizBash, Event Marketer, and the Drum Awards. She's passionate about creating meaningful experiences that drive connection and growth, and we're so excited to hear her story today. Welcome to the podcast, Allie.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to chat about events.
So I'm just going to dive right in.
Let's do it.
Cannes seemed like so long ago by now, but Cannes 2025, Yahoo was a huge hit, right? You guys had a huge stage. So I want to ask you, what impact did the Motel Yahoo have on how people see the brand now?
We don't do any sort of official survey, but I think it certainly had a huge impact. We've been doing Cannes for, I think, over 5 years now at this point, actually at the Martinez Beach every year. And this year was a huge, reimagining of how Yahoo shows up at Cannes. We really brought our new brand's identity to life, which is funny to say because it's a very nostalgic look and feel, but it's playful and it was fun. And it was the first year since I've been here where we were picked up actually, by Event Marketer, by BizBash. We heard tons of chatter across social around just the beach design and the experience. Even the Martinez Hotel for the first time took photos of our beach for their own portfolio. So I think, we think it just made a really huge impact for us and how people are imagining the brand. It was like, oh, wow, I have to go check out Yahoo. What has Yahoo been up to? So yeah, I think really good. And hopefully we can do more Motel Yahoo type experiences.
And you and I were kind of just chatting about, so I have the pleasure of actually visiting your activation, and it was really
So
awesome.
fun.
I wish I have my Motel key right now. I don't have that thing with me, but I am using the Yahoo usable bag.
Yes,
Super
yes.
cute. My kids wanted to take it from me, but I say, no, this one's for mommy. Yeah, it's really nice. And you guys did series of luncheons and, definitely a very educational lineup. How was it curating that experience?
Yeah, this year, kind of like I was mentioning a little bit before, but we really took a step back this year and kind of threw out our own playbook. We had for the last few years really focused the energy of the beach on B2B client meetings. And while that's been super successful, we really try to evolve, and especially just with our, reimagining of the brand and how we were going to show up this year, we really opened the beach. And so kind of how you experienced, there was daily delegate activations. We had luncheons for different brand partners every day. And I think that really breathed life into the beach and really brought more community and more Cannes attendees down to our space. And I think other parts of that just made it super successful for us and different was this was one of the first times for Cannes specifically where we used that Motel Yahoo to be an umbrella for how all of our other brands express themselves. So instead of, doing product demos to show our latest products that we're trying to feature, our products showed up in kind of activations and in the details. So I don't know if you noticed, but the bar was the Yahoo search bar, and the menu was designed to look like that product. Or, even to your reference of the keychains, every keychain was the key brands were focused on with kind of their key message on the other side of that keychain. We had Yahoo mailed at a postcard box where you could, send a card back home from Yahoo Mail from Cannes to your kids or your family. So we really tried to lean in and bring each of our brands to life in kind of unique and ways that you could touch and feel and experience. So you kind of know, where our focus areas are.
I definitely experienced most of the things you just mentioned, but I didn't see the postcard.
Oh yeah, it was by the red desk. It was right by the red desk. Next time, I'm sure we'll have to bring it back.
Yeah, my kids would love to get Get a postcard from me. Bob and friends.
Love it.
That's so great. But you're right though, Allie. Like I thought everything was super intentional and you could kind of tell, right? Like we go to a lot of these. So it really just stands out when something's very intentionally created and so thoughtful too. So that's so great. Anything else that you thought that made the activation successful?
I mean, yeah, outside of some of the brain activations that I was mentioning, and were you there? Did you see when we had the mini golf? Did you see the mini golf set up?
No.
So we had, for a couple of time periods, we actually had like a Yahoo Sports mini golf where you could come out to our beach delegates and play mini golf for a little bit. And it was like just the cutest mini golf. Now I want to play mini golf all the time. Our agency did such an incredible job designing it with our creative team. And it was such an engaging and cool experience. And it featured the different partnerships that Yahoo Sports closed this year. So it was a really cool way to kind of bring it to life, but make it very active for our attendees. The other thing we did though, besides the brand activations, was we had kind of fun delegate general moments for them to come out. So I don't know if you saw any of those, but every day we kind of featured a cool, trendy, different kind of thing to just get Gen Z out to our beach to come check it out. So we had like a Jellycat day. There was like 2 hours where you could come down to our beach. They were gone pretty quickly, but you could get a French macaroon or a baguette and walk out with, a Yahoo branded tote with your, Jellycat inside. So just kind of fun, different ways to keep the beach busy and have different sort of attendees from all walks of life come down to check it out.
That was so cute. That was like the stuffies that you guys are passing out, right?
Yes.
Cute,
yes.
like cabana. Okay. Yeah. I got that. And your staff was so good. They only pass out one. I was like, my kid's gonna fight for this. It's okay. Okay. That was great. That was really good. How about in terms of, I think a lot of time with people like us in events, we know so many things going right. But is there anything that you would do differently or that went sideways that nobody else knew, but maybe only you and your team know about?
Well, I think more than me, probably other brand teams knew too, but I don't know if you know that, like, I think it was kind of midday lunchtime Tuesday, about 5 hotels lost power. So we were impacted by the power outage. So that was pretty startling. We were outside and we were on the beach and I was actually working the reg desk. So I didn't even know immediately when it happened. I actually had a waiter come out and say, hey, like the whole kitchen just lost power. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what's happening? So I text, our contacts at Essential who lead Can, and they had informed us that 5 hotels had lost power, both indoor and at their beaches. But it was okay. We navigated it really well. The team, I think, is so resolute. I have such an amazing team. They're just problem solvers instantly. No one goes into panic, the world's falling apart mode. It's like, okay, how are we going to solve this? And we honestly just were able to pivot with the Martinez to serve cold food because that was still operating. We just couldn't serve hot food for a while. And to your point, I think we were the only ones, besides maybe if somebody wanted a cheeseburger, that they couldn't order it, but they didn't know the power was out. They just thought they couldn't get a cheeseburger right then. So that was probably the most sideways moment, but certainly stressful because the next day was our Diplo party. So I was definitely in back of my mind sweating, like, are we going to lose power again? Like when the party starts, but luckily we didn't. It was just for that Tuesday lunchtime period.
Yeah, and I do remember when the power went out. I happened to be at Female Quotient at the time.
Oh
and
yeah, so
like, they were doing like panels, and all of a sudden, like the AV was gone, right?
Yes.
And nobody could hear. And then they were like, "Okay, everybody, just move closer." Like, but I'm glad the power came back, and you guys were able to have your disco party.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. All right, segueing to your other really great events like South by Southwest to ACL or to even like your run clubs. You have built so many of these like culture driven activations. Like which one made the biggest impact?
So many fun ones. I think it's hard to quantify which one made the most impact because they are so different with such different goals and audiences. The run clubs were so special because they were focused on a very small, like niche group of a community that were a part of the Austin Run Club that we had found. Whereas like the South by Southwest event was open to all South by Southwest attendees. So I think they all made an impact in the way that we showed up with them. But I would focus on South by. South by was just such an amazing event this last year. We hadn't done an event for consumers since I've been here for Yahoo in a long time. I really can't remember the last time we were out there, at an event like that for consumers only. And it was just so incredible. We partnered with Poolsuite. They're an FM internet radio station that this Marty Bell runs. He's absolutely incredible partner. And they partnered with us and we made kind of this like internet leisure aesthetic style after party, but it ran all day long. It was from sun up to sundown. It was a 10-hour event at the Hotel Van Zandt rooftop. And we, from doors open till closing, we were at capacity the entire time with a line around the Hotel Van Zandt waiting to get in. It was just unreal, as you can imagine. We did not expect people to be there the entire time. We imagined there'd like the ebbs and flows, but we just held capacity throughout it. And it was just amazing for us because we hadn't seen Gen Z touch and feel our brand in so long. And we saw so much social activity of people being like, wait, Yahoo's back? Like a lot of, it's a lot of Gen Z it's the internet of their parents or their grandparents even. And so it was like, look at this line. It was worth it. This was the best party. This was the best activation. There was such great social reach out of it. And I think that was, super memorable for me and for my team and for the broader marketing team, that the appetite is there and that people really enjoyed the experience. And I hope to do more like that one, just because that's how we reach the next generation of Yahoo users is getting out there, as you and I know, and having in real life experiences. That's how you get them to become a fan, is when they get to fall in love with your brand in person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of talks about, digital, all those is really great, but we know the connectivity truly happens in person. So you're definitely right. And it's so great to hear you say they continue to stay longer, right? Because South by Southwest, there's a lot of distraction.
Yes.
So they totally could be bouncing from one place to another. The fact they stay, they come back. That's huge kudos to you guys.
Yes, it was an awesome experience. We really focused that event. The design was just so fun. It was very like 90s internet. And we partnered with, there's an agency, TPD, that we absolutely love out of Philadelphia. They are just the best details agency I've ever worked with. They did this photo booth activation that you would have, it was just the most hysterical, fun photo booth I've ever seen. It was like a 90s executive, like where you're getting a headshot as if you're an executive from the 90s, and you put on like a, shoulder pad jacket and a wig, and you like could pick up a phone, and the background was that like super cheesy photo booth background from the 90s. But our attendees loved it. It had a line all day long, and it was closing an hour before the party closed, and they started chanting to keep it open, and they were like, we'll pay to keep it open, we'll pay to keep it open. And we're like, oh my gosh, we will pay to keep it open. Like, we didn't realize that you guys like this photo booth that much. So yeah, there was just a lot of fun, like different touches that I think, to your point, like kept them hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it. I want to see photos. I mean, I
know. I have to show you.
Yeah, I'm like, I have a certain picture in my head right now.
No, it's hysterical. And some people just had so much fun with it. Like some of the photos are so funny, so good.
Oh my gosh. How fun. How fun. Okay. Behind every standout event, the team is crucial. And you kind of touch upon your team. So as the leader of the team, what's really your approach to empower people to do their best work, especially because you guys are all not in the same city? Like, how do you empower them? How do you motivate them and keep everybody on track?
I love this question. I could talk about like teams and that sort of thing forever. I love my team so much. There's so many different factors that go into it. I think for me, the number one thing is keeping them inspired. And we do a lot of different things to stay inspired. So we meet with a lot of agencies for educational purposes. We actually don't hire a lot of agencies for our work because we do a lot of it ourselves, but we love to meet with agencies, learn about them, learn from them, hear their case studies, so we can learn about what's happening in the industry, what's trending, what's not working, what's working. The team, exhausts event marketer and biz bash and even just social media on events. There was tons of chatter. I don't know if you saw the Veronica Beard and Corner Store activation that just happened, but my Instagram DMs were my entire team pinging about all the details of that activation. And so I think, I've really encouraged them to stay connected to what's culturally relevant and what's happening, because that, innately makes them subject matter experts. And then to your point, drives that confidence that they can believe in themselves to pull off great events. So that's hugely important to me, is just like staying inspired and staying connected. Another big part of it is truly like quarterly career conversations. I know what every girl on my team wants to be when she grows up, air quotes. I know what they're focused on. I know what they want to be, what they want to do next, event wise. Like if they look at our calendar, I know which ones that they're really raising their hands for. I know areas of their skills that they're focused on. And so I really try to coach them in the areas they need me, but then let them run in the areas that I know that they excel. And in that sense, I think we have a lot of fun. A funny sidebar too, just on the inspiration note, inspiration comes from everywhere. And I think you'll just find this funny. If they're listening to this or whenever they watch us, like they're going to crack up. But I try to like do some fun culture, moments. And when the Kendrick Lamar They Not Like Us song came out, were you part of that whole like, the battle that was happening? I did a whole session, like team media around that song, and we dissected the music video and the lyrics and went through like all the hidden details, all of the things that he like buried in there that if you know, but if you don't know, you don't know. We went down Reddit feeds, reading all of the different conspiracy theories. And it was just such a fun team meeting that wasn't connected to events, but it came back to the same thing that I think makes my team so good at what they do. And or anyone, I should say, for that example, it was like, it's what he's passionate about. And he poured himself into every detail to like make it probably in my mind, the best rap song ever. So, I think that was just a fun, another way to inspire the team. So lots of different things, but I think that kind of covers the different ways I approach getting them to do their best work.
Ready to elevate your next event? Let's chat. Visit Innovate MKG to schedule a game-changing conversation. Those are such great shares. I mean, that just reminds me, I don't know if your kids are watching this or this is in your household, but K-pop Demon Hunter.
So, oh my gosh. Yes. We have a sweatshirt.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. In my household, daily, that song is popping up. And I have 2 boys. Okay. But it's even like, maybe I could do this dance with my team. I think that'll be so fun. We can link
Yes.
It's like,
So fun. Exactly.
So fun. It's everywhere. Like literally everywhere I go, I hear the song and I see people moving their shoulder like this. It's like the cutest thing. And I'm just like, okay, they watched it. They know what I'm talking about. And exactly. I'm doing the same thing.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, no. Huge in our house. So good.
Yes. And definitely make sure your whole team tune into this episode so they can help support. I love what you share about the team, right? Because that's so crucial. We can't do it by ourselves. How about in terms of the role when it comes to the details and making sure an event is truly unforgettable? I would love for you to share an example where the details made all the difference.
Yes. I feel like I've even just mentioned, I think it's clear to see how much I care about the details. I'm truly obsessed with the details of an event. I think it's just those touch points that when done right, it's the thing people really walk away with. And it is that kind of final hook that converts somebody from oh, this is a great experience to, oh my gosh, I have to check out this brand. They did this thing. And the details, I think, are everything from physical things that we can touch and feel, whether that's the packaging. There's so much talk around vacation and just their incredible packaging. And that's the attention to detail that they're crushing, even to lighting at our events and how a lighting can completely change the vibe of the experience. So for us, details are huge. I think a fun one back in December, we partnered with A24. I don't know if you saw the movie Y2K that came out, but it came out like it's like a 90s. It's so good. It's hysterical. It's crazy. It's a fun. Don't watch it with your kids though. It's a little gruesome. But in that movie, there's just some really noteworthy scenes, and so we partnered with them and we did some of their screening after parties for college kids. And we did like a photo booth that looked like the porta potty in the movie that they were in, so that you could really experience it and feel like you were immersed in it. They had a Barbie truck that actually killed people in the movie, but we had a Barbie truck robot come out and serve drinks. And so it was like really fun, connected to the movie details. But then beyond that, even, going back to Cannes and to the keychain you mentioned, right? Like those little things that people take with them, even knowing your audience, right? And taking things home for your kids. We really recognize that, especially in the B2B space, that for the most part, all of our clients are parents or, have a partner. And so as much as we can do gifting that isn't necessarily for them, but we're helping them get a gift so they don't have to stop at the airport, gift shop to take it home. That's something that we're fulfilling a need that they're looking for. And that makes it super memorable for them. Even at CES, we had just a super nostalgic, like 90s candy bar. And so many of the attendees were taking home candy for their kids. And so just really leaning into those things, knowing your audience and having fun with them. Because like I said, I think those are the things that people really remember. And it's the biggest impression you can actually make is in those small touches that feel personal and feel connected to me, the attendee,
I love that 90s candy bar. I wouldn't be packing it for my kids, by the way. I would pack it for myself.
I know, I was eating all the now and laters. I was like, I haven't eaten these in so long. Like, I'm just going to sit and eat these.
So hopefully my kids are not listening to this episode. Candy is bad for you. But it's my personal favorite.
Love it.
Yeah, I love how you incorporate like so many of these like really fun elements, right? And all these details too. And Yahoo, you're right. You guys been around for decades, but you guys continue to keep finding ways to stay relevant, right? What role do events play in that? Because there's so many, when we think about marketing, it's all encompassing, right? But personally, I'm very biased. I think events and experiential is the best. What do you think?
Same. Yes. I mean, and I think, in general, just speaking from being passionate about events and a believer in the power of events, it's such a fantastic extension of marketing. And brands that are out there crushing it, like Pinterest, who leans really into events, or Aperol Spritz, who, like, you can just see how much those brands are driving brand love with Gen Z and the next generation by being out there at every festival and engaging with them. For us, it's exactly the same. It's an opportunity for us to bring the brand to life and make it an opportunity for our target audiences to touch and feel the brand. And so, we're still involved. We're still out there and evolving and getting to know our fans. I think a great example of a really close connect is recently, actually, we just partnered with Yahoo Sports for Fantasy Draft Weekend. They did a campaign, 28 Days of Fantasy, and during the actual draft weekend, we had an event in Vegas where they had their content team out there producing some podcasts and that sort of thing. And we paralleled with them, and we had a contest for fantasy leagues where they could win the chance to actually come out to Vegas, do their draft live from Vegas on Yahoo Sports, check out the podcast live, get a ton of swag, and just have fun in Vegas. And one league got to win, and it was this awesome group of women that we brought out to Vegas, and they got to, do their draft with their team. They were posting about it. They had so much fun. They were, we had a big throne you could take pictures on and like winning, and it was just the best. And it was such a great extension of that campaign. It was a way for us to have a moment to get their true connected fans engage with Yahoo Sports and continue to drive that brand love for the fantasy fans that have been around forever, but also to get new fans to register and try to win as well.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So many things. I'm like, check. I want to send you all the emojis. All right. So Allie, we've been doing this for a long time, right? You've been doing this for a while as well. So we kind of saw the evolution of how events have evolved over the years. How about now? Like, what trends or shifts are you seeing in experiential marketing that you're the most excited about?
There's so many cool ones. I think I have to go back. I think I just mentioned it, but I have to give a shout out to Aperol Spritz. I don't know if you've noticed it, but certainly I have noticed it. They really nailed building a simple activation and they brought it everywhere. And they leaned into their color. And now when you see that orange, you think Aperol. And to me, that's the power of IRL experiences. That is because they were at every festival, every event, even the US Open. It was all in my feed. Everyone was at the Aperol experience. And it's just that orange, the way they've like mastered their color. The moment you see that orange, you know the brand, you love it, you want to take a picture with it, you want to have a drink of it. And they've been around forever. But I think we could all take a page from their book on really getting the next generation. They absolutely have. Like they have crushed it. And it's to me, it's really a simple story of leaning into your color and just showing up. They didn't do like extensive, massive builds. It was really like orange, very Instagrammable, have a drink with us. And, you know, massive, massive impact. So I think that's a big one. The other thing I think we've just really noticed, and I think where we're kind of heading, but I think it's kind of starting and we're going to see is, Gen Z is just so different. I was reading this report. I don't know if you've seen, but Gen Z drinks a lot less than millennials. Like we drink a lot more. And I think that when they're going to music festivals, they're not there necessarily to party. It's community for them. They are going out there with their friends. They're going to meet people. It's a way to actually engage because the world just looks so different now post COVID and the way, we are in such a digital world that these are moments for them to experience community. And so I think brands, what we're going to see and what we're seeing even just with live events is focusing on niche groups versus trying to hit the masses. There's so many new music festivals now that are just focused on one specific genre or one specific area within that genre. Like the John Summit, I don't know if you saw the Rolling Stone article, but there's a John Summit Music Festival about to happen in New York in a couple of weeks. And it's going to apparently be like the best ever of the year. And it's so niche, it's so focused on one type of music in one category. And so I think as we, even as a brand, think about how we show up in these spaces, it's less trying to maybe talk to everybody. And it's more like, how do we identify a niche group that we could really bring community together and create an opportunity for them to network, for Gen Z to bring their friends together, really create that space. I think that's going to be something that really starts to show up in a lot of our brand activations in the future.
Well, I resonated a lot with what you share. The Aperol Spritz, definitely, I'm seeing it everywhere. And I agree with you that orange really pops and just shows that you don't need to spend a lot to always make an impression, right? But
Right.
it definitely was like very on point. And also the fact that like niching down is so strategic, honestly. People try to sometimes be too saturate like a bigger market, but really when you niche down, you get to know the audience better and really cater to them and really change normal people to fandom. That's it's a big task. It's a tall order, but you have to do it right in order to make that happen too.
Exactly.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you the hardest question. No, just kidding. But looking back at your career, it's been so extensive. You've done so many amazing events. Just today, you share already in only 2025. But what's been the single most impactful event you worked on?
It actually is such a hard question because there's so many different events.
Yeah.
It's a fun one though, in a good way. I think it's like, I'm going to just tweet, like, I think it's actually like the most impactful for my career event. I've been at Yahoo, AOL, all the brands. I've been here for a long time. I've been here for 13 years. And so I was here when AOL and Yahoo were merging under Verizon. And when that was happening, we were launching a brand called Oath. And at that point in time, we did, I got, I wasn't even leading the team. I was a senior manager, and I was asked to lead a sales conference for 2,500 global sellers in 2 to 3 months. And I was like, wait, what? Like, for anyone that knows events, like, that is absolutely insane, like mind-blowing crazy. And we all know, like, you need months and months, if not a year plus, to find a venue that can house that many people that fast. And so we ended up building essentially a small music festival outside of Denver. We bought out 13 hotels in Denver and bussed everyone in. I don't think sales loved that part, but it was the best we could do because there's no convention centers left at this point unless we were like, in the middle of nowhere. And that event was just like, as you can imagine, so special to work on because I was working with an entire new team I had never met. It was me, I was AOL, and my entire rest of my team was Yahoo. And so as a whole events team that had never worked together, now have to make the biggest event any of us have ever made in like the most small amount of time. So we were on calls day and night. And you can just imagine right at the end when that event was ending, like everyone was, in tears of joy, just like that exhale of like, oh my gosh, like it actually happened. We had this moment, we saw there was a lot of international attendees and there was specifically this really big group from Brazil. And we had a really big talent perform at that event. Malcolm and Ryan Lewis did the party that night. And they were like dancing in a circle, singing, and we all were recording it because it was just such a perfect bonding of like these two teams from this country together having such a great time. So yeah, I think it's those events where you're so outside your comfort zone. We were pushed to our limits, and to this day, it's probably just the one that changed me forever. Even tomorrow, I'm going to one of the girls that I work with wedding. She doesn't even work here anymore, but like I stayed so close with her because you just bond in those environments. So, that was certainly my most impactful, if I could spin it a little bit, because it's just going to forever be like that. I'll never do an event like that again. It was wild. It was so fun. And I hope to never have to do a sales conference that fast,
Yeah, 2 to 3 months at that scale. I mean, you guys have to move at lightning speed and work some real miracles for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. It's okay. We'll invite you a few years back into EventUp and I'll ask you the same question, but hopefully it's the same answer.
Yeah.
You're like, same answer as last time. Then that's great. We'll take it for it. Okay, it's been so fun talking to you. What advice would you give to the next generation or just even marketers who are tuning in today who want to create experiences that truly make an impact?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of stands out in the themes that we just naturally hit on a little bit today. I think the most important thing is like knowing your audience, and even when we were talking about my team and keeping them inspired, I'm probably like the complete opposite of the expression rinse and repeat. I don't really like rinse and repeat. I think, events have to evolve. Experiences have to evolve. Your audience isn't the same year over year. They're different because culture has changed, trends have changed. And so really knowing your audience, staying connected to culture, knowing what matters to people, what they really care about, I think makes such a huge difference in being a great event marketer, and producing experiences that really have a connection with your attendees. And then, even to that point, an extension that is those details, because that's the things that people really like gravitate towards. It feels like it was meant for them. It feels personal to me. It's something I want to take a picture of, even referencing the Veronica Beard activation at the corner store, like that. They had like ice cubes with VB on it. They did like custom pretzels that say VB. They even put Veronica Beard on the side. Like the details are so perfect. It's so built for social. It's so built to drive reach and certainly created brand love. So yeah, I mean, I think those are the things. It's staying in touch with culture. It's knowing your audience, and then it's not losing sight of how important the little details are.
Well, Allie, this was absolutely a pleasure having you joining us today. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and insights. It was so fun talking to you. This has been such a great conversation. Thank you.
Same with you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun. I could talk events all day.
And I would say it's so fun to meet the wizard behind the creation, right? Like having seen like the Yahoo Motel in person and say, okay, who's behind this, and meet them and talk to them. It's truly inspiring. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
EventUp is powered by Innovate Marketing Group, your go-to partner for unforgettable events and experiences. Discover how we bring brands to life at innovatemkg.com. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave us a rating and review. It helps more listeners like you find the show and keeps the inspiration going.
Thank you for listening. Tune in next time on EventUp.